Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Monday Memo. Now, during the past week I had a fantastic opportunity. I was invited to keynote at a finance transformation conference in London and also attend another event in the evening from Generation CFO. So thanks Chris Argent for the invite, really appreciated it. But the most memorable thing for me I'll take away is connecting with so many fantastic finance professionals and leaders who are really committed to try and figure out a path through the disruption facing our profession and generally want to go and create value. I think value was a key word. And there were loads of really great insights to take away, but therein lies the challenge is when I was thinking about what to say on this week's Monday Memo, I was like, how could I condense it down? So I'm doing my best to share with you the three main insights, key takeaways I have. I'm sure others who attended and involved in the various conversations might be thinking of other ones. But for me, the three were starting with Patrick Stolberg, who is CFO of Itello AB. And during his presentation, he was talking about how we remain relevant in finance. And he said we could do that in three ways. One was creating clarity for others in our organizations. I think we're very well placed to do that. The second is to be a challenger. I call this a sparring partner, but you get the sense that we just don't sit back behind our desks. We get out there and see where there's opportunities to create small bits of friction to help the business make sure they're making the best decisions possible. And then also, once a decision's made, is then driving that accountability. So I thought there were nice three key elements. There was also a phrase he said is, I think we cannot outcompete the machines at what they do best or at their game. So I think it's also important that we look at our strengths, figure out what we do well ourselves, and then do that the best we can, and don't worry too much about trying to compete with the machines on what they do well. So that was key takeaway number one. Key takeaway number two for me was actually from an evening event. It said, held by Generation CFO. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary as a group. So congratulations on that. But also congratulations on the conversation that was fostered. It was really about talking through some of the key digital finance trends that we're seeing at the moment. And at one point that what the panel raised that really sort of got me thinking was, I cannot but feel in larger organizations, IT are getting very much beaten up by stakeholders for not being innovative enough. And perhaps that's traced back to some sort of challenges we've had in finance too. That sort of cost center mindset or seen as an overhead perhaps. So an example of that is, if you've got that cost center mindset, then you're more concerned with spending the budget or allocating scarce resources out more so than going out and creating value and innovating and maybe being seen as a profit center. So I think, when combined what Patrick was saying in his thoughts, being that challenger, driving accountability, it's probably incumbent upon us to help our partners in IT and our friends and colleagues in IT to go and create more value because there's some fantastic experts in that area. And rather perhaps than us continuously trying to hire in shadow IT because we just find it's faster, that the IT cogs are too slow to move when it comes to request some work. We request them to stand up, say, a data visualization server like a Tableau or Power BI, and they're umming and ahhing and it doesn't fit within policy. So it's just easier for ourselves to go out and buy licenses and drive value that way, is to bring them into the process, because if we don't, they'll never learn. And I just don't think in the longer run we'll run fast enough. And also share with them how to look at initiatives from a value creation perspective, as opposed to, it's just another cost and we have to try and find some budget for that. So and that might even help with them trying to prioritize their work. But I think at this point in time, they need our help, and we would in the long run benefit from them being better innovators and try and find opportunities where we can work better together. And then the third takeaway for me on the last day, there was actually an awful lot of quality conversations. So this is quite hard. I really liked Paddy Danda's presentations around Agile. I thought they were very enlightening, and it was quite cool to see how we could perhaps leverage this in finance. And also Paul Benjamin, who's CFO of Microsoft UK, sharing his thoughts on where machine learning has helped drive massive efficiencies in their forecasting cycle and other parts of their business. And also, it was probably an obvious answer to the question I asked, but his favorite Microsoft app is Microsoft Excel. So, and again, like Lance Rubin on this show before, his view is Excel is far from dead. But I think the general theme of the various conversations, and Paddy and Paul and their various presentations, was one of resilience in finance. Is just making sure that as teams we know our key skills, our core strengths as individuals within those teams, but also understanding what other members of our teams are doing. So should they need to pop out, change, move on, or whatever, that we can continue the work that we do as finance, in a sustainable, resilient manner. And like I sort of liken this to a chain. We're only as strong as our weakest link. So look, I hope you found those insights really useful. If you did, I'd love to hear about your thoughts on them, your comments with this post. And also remember to share the show with your friends and colleagues. We're on all the major platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube and Spotify. And really appreciate you investing your time with us today. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and let's keep on building our strength in the numbers.